Okay, welcome to this lesson number 3 of learning JavaScript. Today we will be learning about objects. In case of objects, you have already learned these objects in case of Java programming as well as C++ coding. So an object in JavaScript is nothing but an entity having state and behavior. So if you have state or a behavior, then we'll say that's an object. And for example, we can have car, pen, bike, etc. These can be considered as objects. Since JavaScript is an object-based language, therefore everything is an object in JavaScript. But the only difference is that JavaScript in this case is not class-based, but it is a template-based object. So here we do not create classes to get the object, but we directly create objects. Now, how do we create objects? So there are 3 different ways to create objects. First one is by object literals. In this case, we have property name and the value name separated by a colon, and using these comma separated property name and value name pair, we can initialize the objects. The second way of initializing the objects is by creating the instance. Now, how do you create an instance? We create an instance by making use of the new keyword and the object method. So variable object name can be equal to new object method. And after you have initialized a variable as an object, what we can do is we can add properties to these. So property 1 can be assigned value 1, property 2 can be assigned value 2, and so on. So in this same way, you can see that how we create object by the method 1, creating objects by method 2, but is having a similar approach. The third method of creating an object is by making use of object constructors. Now, what are object constructors? Object constructors mean you can name the object by some name of the method, which can be named as a constructor because it is creating an object, and we pass down the arguments ID, name, and salary, for example, in this case, and these values are then assigned to the properties. So this dot property name is equal to ID, and this dot name is equal to name, and this dot salary is equal to salary. So what we can do is we can assign values to the property. Now, how to access the properties? To access the property, we have methods like object name, then square bracket the property name variable, or you can have dot operator with the property name variable. And the third method could have been the use of double quotes string. So if you make use of a double quotes string also in the pair of square brackets also, then also you can access the properties. So you have this example where this dot first name and this dot last name is the accessible property, and what we have done make use of the dot operator and the property name, and object is accessed by this method. Now this is the keyword basically in JavaScript also, and it refers to the object, the current object, which is called this particular method. So if you call some method by the object dot full name, then it will be the corresponding object which has called this one full name. Okay, now let us implement what we have learned in case of the theory class. What we can do is we can add a new HTML file by choosing new HTML and give them a name to the HTML file. In this case, I have taken up the test obj.html file. I am placing the script inside the body of the HTML page. Now, inside the script tags, there is pair of script tags. You see highlighted in yellow. What we have is we have a variable, say my car. Now this variable my car is initialized with the constructor new object. So here it is a new object, and then I've done is I have named the property names here, taken up the property names with the dot operator, and assigned some values to this properties. Another method could have been to assign the objects. We have an object again, obj, my obj, and we take some variables also. We have three variables: str, which has been initialized with my string, rand, which will be assigned some random variable value, and obj is one of the objects again. So what I will be doing is I will be assigning certain properties to my object, and I will be nesting one object inside another object. So here you see my obj dot type. So type has not been declared earlier, so this means that this is a new property name, and I will assign some value to it. We have also learned this square bracket approach. In this square bracket approach, we need not use the dot operator. Therefore, we have my obj square bracket name of the property and is equal to some value. So this is the value which has been assigned. Similarly, we have assigned str also to my object, rand also to my object, and the object obj to my object. So object obj, small obj, is now part of nested object of my obj. So, and the value which I have initialized is object. And similarly, in the last we have done is we have taken up a property without giving any name, and still I have been able to assign some value to it. At the end of this code, I have taken up this statement that on the console window, we will be logging the details about the my object. So we'll be detailing the log details of the my object. So let us run this small HTML file. To run, we'll be right click on the file and then choose run file. So the moment you choose, you will end up on a Explorer, since I have used the default as the Explorer window. But here we will not see the object, we will not see anything. In fact, the console will be visible only when you will choose the setting options from the Internet Explorer. It's a wheel kind of a thing, and from this you will be choosing the developer tools. So once I click this developer tools, I have many different tabs available with me, and I will be choosing the second tab, which is written as console window. So once you choose this console, you can view the outcomes of the output of this HTML file. Again, I refresh this page. So you see, when I refresh this page, I get details about the object. And what are the details about the object? The random number which has been assigned, the name of empty property which has been assigned a value also, then an object which has been assigned the value object. Then we have date created, which was having in single quotes in the pair of square brackets only, and therefore we have the value here. So my string, which will be again having some value, and the type, which is some other value which I have initialized in case of my